This is what happens when we plant the pumpkins too close to the septic tank. Welcome back to another episode of RecNation. It's deer hunting week here in Wisconsin, so we're going to do a deer hunt special. In the back of the U-Force here I have a variety of rifles. We're going to try them out and see how they go. We got some classic hunting rifles here, plus we brought along a couple just for fun. The first one we have here is a 17 HMR. Muzzle velocity on this is 2550 feet per second. Next up we have the infamous AR-15. This one's chambered in the 223. You can see the configuration on this. It actually has the top mount for optics versus the open sight. This has a muzzle velocity of 3240 feet per second. These two aren't necessarily deer hunting rifles, but we're going to shoot them just to see what they do to pumpkins. Here's the 223. This one here is my first hunting rifle. This is the trusty old 30-30. This one's got the bolt action and the open sights. And here, muzzle velocity is 2200 feet per second. Here's the 30-30. This here is another hunting classic. This is a 30-06 with scope and bolt action. Muzzle velocity here is 2700 feet per second. Here's the 30-06. That was 115 decibels. When you have a bolt action, what you want to do is squeeze the trigger and then push the bolt down, then there's no spring pressure. A little more kick on that one. This is my current hunting rifle right here. It's a Savage 7mm Reb Mag, bolt action. It's got a 3x9 scope. Muzzle velocity here is 3100 feet per second. 7mm. Max decibels 115. And last but not least is the trusty old 12 gauge. This is a pump action with a scope. We have two different rounds for that. And here we have a full-size slug and we have a saboted round. Muzzle velocity here is 1340 feet per second. So if shooting's all done, this is the results. This is the 17 HMR, smallest bullet out of the whole group. Again, this is more of a varmint gun. We just shot it for fun. You can see the entrance hole kind of hit and expanded. Exit hole, that means that bullet kind of broke up inside the pumpkin. Not much for an exit hole. So here's the 223, a little more high powered than the 17. Still a pointy bullet. Here's the entrance. And here's the exit. You can see it expanded and broke apart to the rear of the pumpkin. 30-30, this is now a classic deer gun. It's got more of a blunt front on the bullet. So going in and expanded, kind of blew the chunk out of the front, and then exit hole out the back. 30-06. This is again a good classic deer rifle. Same size bullet as the 30-30, but it's more pointed. It's a little more high velocity, a little more powder behind it. Entrance here, and you can see it's got a much bigger exit hole compared to the 30-30. Here's the 7mm. The bullet's a little bit smaller than the 30-06 and 30-30, but it's got a lot more powder behind it, so it's more high velocity. You can see the entrance here, but if you compare the exit holes, 30-06 to 7mm, this one really does some damage. And then the 12 gauge, it's such a big bullet that it causes a lot of damage. You can see going in, it actually split the pumpkin, and then coming out on the other side. Not as big a hole as the rifles. If you look at the 30-06, if I can get the stand here, or comparing it to the 7mm, but you can see it did more damage. It actually broke the pumpkin apart here. Alright, hopefully you found this informational and a little bit interesting. And now we'll go out to the deer stand and I'll give you a few tips on having a safe, effective hunt.